Okay, so Jeremy, I get it, okay? So holistically, we can't be thinking one issue at a time, like intrusion detection or malware or antivirus. We have to think about them all the time, and there's not one solution for any of those. You might have to have multiple solutions for each of those things. Now, how do I get the rest of my organization to understand that, to bring up your human error issue? I can be great at all of that, just like you said. I can be great at all of that as a technician, but now I'm not dealing with technicians. I'm dealing with a whole organization. This credit card company, 5,000 employees. What do I do?
Well, obviously the technology piece is very important. We don't want to forget that piece of the equation, but the human aspect is very important as well. Like the analogy of a child letting someone in the door, you need proper security awareness. President Obama's made it very clear that security awareness is very important to the nation because he set up a national security awareness team. So not only nationally,
But is the president preaching to me about security going to change the practices of the clerk down in my office in Omaha if I'm a credit card company?
No, I'm just illustrating that it's a very important topic if it's gotten national attention. So it's important to your organization that you train personnel from secretary all the way to the CEO of proper security, because otherwise they'll defeat the technology that you've put in place.
Well, first thing they're going to say to me as the CIO, first thing they're going to say is, well, that's not my job. That's the job of the IT guys.
That's a common rebuttal, and actually it is their job. So as users of the data, they become responsible for the security of that data as well, particularly a data owner. So if that secretary is sending out personal identifiable information, then she needs to know how to protect that. He or she.
So who is it, though? You're talking about she needs to know that. But who tells her? Is that, who is that? Is that the responsibility of Laurus Technologies? Or is that the responsibility of Joe in IT? Is that the responsibility of the CIO? Is it responsible of the CEO?
Yeah, that just comes back to the holistic approach. So security awareness is just one of those pieces to the puzzle that you need to address your security strategy. So it's important that you have regular security awareness training for those individuals, and perhaps a sign-off or quiz to ensure that they've received that training.
But who? My audience, I have a particular audience that I write to. This is what I'm getting at here. Is it my audience? Is it the IT directors? Is it the CIOs of the world that need to do this?
Ultimately, it would fall on the security director if there is one at your organization. Otherwise, the CIO, because they are ultimately responsible for the information that is on their data network.
Okay, well, if I'm you know as well as I do, because you work for large organizations as a systems integrator, you know as well as I do, there are CIOs and there are IT geeks with CIO titles. They're not really officers, are they, some of them? So, is that an effective solution to say, well, it's your responsibility, CIO? Is that CIO going to be able to carry enough weight? Holistic approach. They're going to be able to be credible to an entire organization? What do you tell your clients to tell them how to get over that kind of problem?
Well, if they're a publicly traded company, then they fall under the Sarbanes-Oxley regulation, which does put all responsibility onto the officer staff for security of their data. So that in that scenario, you have regulations to back you up.
That's my list of questions. Anything that I didn't touch on?
No, just to re-illustrate the points that we're trying to make here is that take a holistic approach to security. There's no silver bullet to security. And definitely with that, don't forget the human aspect because it's a very important piece of security. And lastly, if you want to enforce all that solution, make sure you're monitoring and those behaviors are being corrected.
So, in other words, don't just issue, one of the things that makes me laugh every time I receive in the mail is the privacy statement.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's being compelled to do that. We want to show you our privacy statement. Nobody reads those, right? So is that what you're saying, is that don't just issue an edict? You're going to actually have to pay attention, you're going to have to work with people?
Right. If you want to make a change in your organization, you have to follow up and make sure that change is being corrected.